hard to believe, 50 years ago, and I'm still standing on 2 feet.
To most of us, they're names in a history book.
That's Senator Ervin. That's Senator Baker, who was a fantastic person.
Not to Rufus Edmisten.
That was a man named Ehrlichman who was a hard witness to break down, but he finally served time too.
If you want to know what it was like during the Watergate hearings, he can tell you.
Every day it was a major attraction in America to get a seat in the Watergate hearings. We had Barbara Streisand used to love to come. Other celebrities came because they loved the drama. Watergate was a drama. It had everything in it you can think of: intrigue, disputes, political skullduggery. Where he's reading.
He had a front row seat, literally. By the time of the Watergate break-in, Edmisten had served on Senator Sam Ervin's staff for close to a decade.
And I learned more from Senator Ervin in one day of driving him around as I did for 10 years than I did in my entire law school. That's how great he was. And to me, I admired him more than any other person in public life since then and since then.
Ervin chaired the committee that investigated the Watergate break-in. Edmisten served as deputy majority counsel. The turning point came when the committee learned of President Richard Nixon's White House taping system.
We knew that if you could find from the tapes that Nixon knew about Watergate and had committed all these cover-ups, that he would be guilty.
The committee had to get those tapes. The job fell to Edmisten.
This is a subpoena that I served on 23rd day of July 1973 to ask for all the papers and documents of all the people connected with Watergate. You can see some of the famous names here. There must have been 50 reporters when I walked down. I rode down there in a police car. It looked like I was being taken off to the federal penitentiary with all the police around me. And then I walked a couple blocks to get to the White House. And I thought to myself, why are all these reporters here? And I knew at that time that more was setting in than I thought was going to be setting in, that it was a very signal moment in history. And I started tightening up and breathing a little heavier and thinking, well, you're into something now, my boy.
Those tapes would ultimately reveal President Nixon's efforts to cover up the Watergate break-in. The rest is history.
To leave office before my term is completed is abhorrent to every instinct in my body. But as president, I must put the interests of America first.
I'm for Rufus. That was my campaign slogan. Attorney General.
Edmisten would go on to serve as North Carolina's Attorney General and Secretary of State. But if you ask him about the highlight of his career, he'll point to that day in July in 1973.
It was the one crisis in America, probably next to the Civil War and to the two world wars, that shook up government the most, that laid bare how our system works. And it showed that the system did work, and I had a little tiny part in making that happen. And so I think it probably is the most significant.